So this is a game between Reddy and Wolf, 1922. Queen's Gambit declined, Orthodox defense. And this is a famous game because the assault on f2 earned Black the first brilliancy prize after this game. Question mark exclam. Here this method of blocking the position is unsound because of Black's central advance with e5. Nowadays one would play a3 or c takes d5. e5 exclam. The pawn on e5 will not escape Black's clutches. Knight b6, question mark. A mistake which allows Black to strike at f2. White should have castled, though even his position would still have been somewhat inferior. Knight takes f2, exclaim. So White plays bishop h7 check. First, Queen takes, Black wins the queen. So let's see. The critical continuation is king takes f2, knight g4, king e1, king g3 would allow queen e5 check, king h4, queen g5 check, which wins the queen after something like this or this. So and this leads to checkmate. So White goes to e1, knight f2, bishop f5, exclaim. Bishop takes, queen f2 check, king d2, if king d1, Black wins the queen. Suppose this isn't very good either. Queen takes c5 check and Black wins. So when the king moves, rook takes and Black is up a lot of material. So that is why in this position Black plays bishop h7 check, king h8 and castles. Here king takes f2 would be even worse. Please pause it if I'm going through any of these variations too quickly. Queen f2 check. We have a similar line. So White castles. White therefore attempts to save himself by castling, reckoning that Black will not only lose his knight but also his rook. Remember, the rook on a8 is still hanging, and the knight's attacked. Reddy is a pretty famous player, by the way, so this is not a common thing for a famous player to get slaughtered like this. However, Black has calculated further. Knight fg4, knight takes a8, knight takes e3, queen e2. If queen b1, then knight takes f1, king takes f1, or rook takes f1, queen takes c5. So an attack on the knight. So here, rook d1, I think bishop g4 would produce a winning position. So this is attacked, and I think this is attacked too, so I think that black's going to get a material advantage there. So and also doesn't look like the queen can defend the knight either, because the bishop will be hanging. Okay, so that's why here we have king takes f1, and now g6. And black has a huge advantage here because they're going to be up material. Okay, so after queen e2, which happened in the game, we have knight takes f1. And now black plays knight takes h2. So white responds knight b6, but if king takes, queen check, and check was a good position. Now white plays knight e to f3 check. So the other option was king h1, and then knight g4 is crushing. So if queen takes, then checkmate. And if pawn takes f3, then queen check, and black takes the queen next move. So another option would be here, and then white can play check and check. Okay, so that's why in this position white captures the knight, queen g5 check, and takes a queen. Now the rook is defended here, so the queen can't capture it. So queen g3, queen takes b2. Let's go back. I just wanted to take a look. In this position, it looks like this was the final blow because there's no way to defend here. If knight takes, we should also just go through queen takes queen. So another option would be king here. In which case black can play check. And if g3, then they take the queen with check. So you can see that black made a series of brilliant moves, and it led to a combination like this. But these combinations don't just come out of nowhere. You have to be setting up your pieces to be finding combinations like this. So after knight g3, queen takes b2 check, rook c2, queen takes bishop, rook e2, bishop e6, f4, g6, knight a8, h5. I think I might have resigned for white here, but we'll see what happens. Knight c7, h4, knight h1, queen to d3, rook f2, bishop f5, and now they resign. So there's not much counterplay for white, and seems like a good time just as any to resign.